David Muir, ABC's World News Tonight, America's most watched newscast. Now streaming same day with all the breaking news of the day on Disney Plus. Most watched, most trusted. Now on Disney Plus every night.
Tonight, the war intensifies, with Iran reportedly attempting to strike an American base thousands of miles away. A major airline now canceling flights over soaring fuel prices, and President Trump threatening to send ICE agents to fix airport security delays. First, the war with Iran, entering its fourth week. U.S. and Israeli forces battering multiple targets, including a nuclear site. Iran answering back, striking near one of Israel's nuclear facilities, and reportedly launching ballistic missiles toward a joint U.S.-UK base in the Indian Ocean. More U.S. Marines on their way to the region as 2 American soldiers killed in Kuwait are remembered back home in Iowa. Also tonight, the war sending fuel prices soaring, gas averaging close to $4 a gallon, new warnings against price gouging, and the airline now cutting flights as its fuel costs go up. The ongoing fallout of the partial government shutdown, security lines snaking through airports, delays lasting hours as more unpaid TSA officers call out. Senators still at odds over funding for Homeland Security, and now President Trump threatening to send ICE agents to airports to straighten out the delays. Catastrophic flooding in Hawaii, the worst in decades. Rising waters lifting homes and cars, thousands evacuated, hundreds rescued. The governor activating the National Guard, plus the record heat in the west and wildfire dangers in the Rockies and Plains. Remembering Robert Mueller, who rebuilt the FBI after 9/11 and who later investigated President Trump and Russian interference in the 2016 election. The president reacting with harsh words, what he posted after learning of Mueller's death. The newly released video of Justin Timberlake showing the pop star stopped by police and the field sobriety test before being booked for that 2024 DWI. A record-breaking crowd as K-pop sensation BTS returns to the stage. And America Strong tonight, the dog nobody wanted finds a home with the men and women in blue.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us on this Saturday. I'm Whit Johnson. We begin tonight with the war with Iran, now entering its fourth week. Iran reportedly firing 2 ballistic missiles at a remote military base shared by the U.S. and the U.K. more than 2,000 miles from Tehran, demonstrating a capability it had previously denied. Iran is claiming that one of its nuclear facilities was damaged by Israeli airstrikes, but there was no radiation leakage, and then swiftly striking back, hitting a southern Israeli neighborhood near a nuclear facility. Dozens injured, emergency workers combing through the wreckage. The Pentagon releasing this video of strikes destroying Iran's military vehicles and aircraft. Here in the U.S., a somber occasion in Iowa as funeral services are held for 2 Army reservists, Major Jeffrey O'Brien and Sergeant Declan Cody. ABC's Patrick Reevell leads us off tonight from Doha, Qatar.
Whoa. Tonight, Iran and Israel targeting each other's nuclear facilities. An Iranian ballistic missile seen here smashing into a residential neighborhood in the southern city of Dimona, home to Israel's nuclear research center and linked with the country's undeclared atomic weapons program. The International Atomic Energy Agency saying it's received no reports of damage to the center, but calling for restraint from both sides. Israeli authorities reporting over 60 civilians wounded, the strikes hitting apartments. Iran saying it was responding to a fresh wave of US and Israeli airstrikes against its nuclear facilities, including the Natanz nuclear enrichment site. Natanz was already bombed at the start of the war, this satellite image showing damage from then. Iran also reportedly fired 2 ballistic missiles at the key US-UK base in Diego Garcia, located in the middle of the Indian Ocean, more than 2,000 miles away. The Wall Street Journal reporting 1 missile shot down, the other failing. But the launch is meant to demonstrate Iran has far longer range missiles than previously believed. A threatening signal, perhaps, to Europe. CENTCOM today painting a much different picture of Iran's remaining capabilities.
Iran has lost significant combat capability over the last 3 weeks.
Iran is still managing to launch dozens of missiles and drones a day and maintaining its stranglehold on the Strait of Hormuz. The US is now sending thousands more troops to the Gulf, a second Marine expeditionary group seen departing this week. As speculation grows, President Trump might use ground troops to reopen the strait, or even seize Iran's Karg Island.
And if the Marines can get there, I think seizing it would be relatively easy. The problem is getting there, because any Marine unit would have to transit the straits and then go up the Persian Gulf with the Iranians shooting at them the whole time.
It could also risk more US casualties. At least 13 Americans have been killed. The Pentagon says 232 have been wounded. Back in the US, funeral services today for 2 Iowa soldiers killed in the attack on an American base in Kuwait at the start of the war. 20-year-old Sergeant Declan Cody and 45-year-old Major Jeffrey O'Brien.
The first 2,500 Marines should arrive sometime this week, but the second expeditionary unit won't be here for at least 2 more weeks. So any operation could still be weeks away. And obviously, every day, the global economic damage continues to grow with.
All right, Patrick Reevell for us tonight. The war with Iran is also causing pain at the gas pump and growing problems for flyers. United Airlines is canceling flights and bracing for oil to soar to $175 a barrel. Let's go to ABC's Jacqueline Lee in Los Angeles. And Jacqueline, some dire warnings about just how high prices could go.
Wait, that's right. Gas prices have soared since the war with Iran began. The national average is $3.93 a gallon, according to AAA. And here in California, it is a whopping $5.70. Now, gas and oil prices could stay high if key energy infrastructures in the Middle East incur long-term damage, according to a report by Goldman Sachs. Officials in New York and California monitoring for potential price gouging. Now, turning to airlines, the CEO of United announcing the company is canceling about 5% of flights and bracing for oil up to $175 a barrel. Warning, current fuel prices will cost the company an additional $11 billion a year. And with the price of jet fuel jumping 82% since the start of the war, experts warning air travelers to buy tickets now. Whit.
All right, Jacqueline Lee, we appreciate it. President Trump, meantime, is now threatening to send ICE agents to the nation's airports. The president saying that's unless Democrats agree to fund the Department of Homeland Security and end the partial government shutdown. Security delays causing long lines. Here's ABC's senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang.
Tonight, President Trump threatening to deploy ICE agents into airports starting on Monday unless Democrats agree to fund the Department of Homeland Security. Trump posting he will move ICE agents to airports where they will do security like no one has ever seen before, including the immediate arrest of all illegal immigrants who have come into our country. It comes on day 36 of the partial government shutdown, long security lines snaking through airports and reaching the parking lot. TSA workers who haven't seen a paycheck in 3 weeks calling out sick.
Negotiate with Republicans, but at the same time, don't inflict pain on the American people.
Democrats holding firm, saying any deal needs reforms to Trump's immigration enforcement policy.
Is this shutdown worth so many federal workers going unpaid in the travel chaos we're seeing?
What Americans have seen from ICE in breaking down doors, dragging people out of cars, shooting them, killing them, denying them medical aid, detaining them illegally, U.S. citizens, I think has not only appalled them, but angered.
Senators working through the weekend, but no signs of a breakthrough yet.
At some point, the Democrats are going to have to take yes for an answer.
Democrats say they're willing to fund other DHS agencies, including TSA, as negotiations play out.
It is unacceptable for workers and travelers in entire airports to get taken hostage in political games.
And Whit, tonight the president is raising the stakes, but the Democrats I spoke with today say that only hardens their resolve for immigration enforcement reform, insisting that the American people are on their side. Whit.
Selena Wang at the White House tonight, and tune into This Week tomorrow morning. Jonathan Karl speaks with Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy about the mounting delays at America's airports. Now to that catastrophic flooding in Hawaii. Muddy floodwaters swallowed homes and vehicles and triggered evacuation orders for thousands. And now officials are warning about the possible failure of a 120-year-old dam. This is some of the worst flooding in that state in decades. Here's WABC meteorologist Danny Beckstrom.
Tonight, Hawaii under catastrophic flooding for more than a week of relentless rain. Thousands forced to evacuate.
Careful.
Entire neighborhoods submerged. More than 200 people rescued from fast-moving floodwaters. The governor activating the National Guard.
This is the largest flood that we've had in Hawaii in 20 years.
Muddy floodwaters swamping Oahu's North Shore, the world-famous surfing destination. Raging currents lifting homes and cars, forcing 5,500 people north of Honolulu to evacuate. This video showing residents in this Oahu neighborhood in waist-high floodwaters. Fish seen swimming in the flooded parking lot of the North Shore Marketplace. Officials now monitoring the aging 120-year-old Wahiawa Dam. Rising water levels raising fears of an imminent breach.
It could happen. We want people to be aware of it.
So let's get to meteorologist Danny Beckstrom joining me now. So Danny, you have the timing of these threats and also when Hawaii could possibly get some relief.
Looks like early to middle of the week, but it goes from west to east in terms of the islands. Let's look at the flood watches for all 8 Hawaiian islands through tomorrow. We've seen these warnings in and out as well, and we expect that to continue because the ground is already saturated and we have a general 2 to 4 additional inches of rain with up to 6 inches of additional rain through tomorrow. The summits of the Big Island, 6 to 10 inches of snow. Now, this is all connected to that heat dome over the western U.S., the atmospheric river over the Hawaiian Islands up to the northern U.S., and it's allowing this unprecedented March heat. Dozens of all-time March records have fallen, and although the heat has peaked, we're still looking at daily high temperatures records falling as we move into the start of the week. This is also helping to dry out fuels, which is leading to that critical fire danger for the Rockies into the plains as we close out the weekend.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. Danny, thank you. Now to the death of Robert Mueller, a career prosecutor and lifelong public servant who led the FBI after the 9/11 terror attacks and was later named special counsel in the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election. ABC's Olivia Rubin tonight with more on Mueller's life and legacy and how President Trump is reacting.
Tonight, the nation's longtime law enforcement leader, former FBI director, and special counsel Robert Mueller III has died at age 81. His family saying in a statement, "With deep sadness, we are sharing the news that Bob passed away last night." Mueller led the FBI for 12 years and repeatedly found himself at the crossroads of history, including the politically charged investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 elections and its links to President Trump's 2016 campaign. He most recently spent 2 years investigating the case and possible obstruction of justice by President Trump himself. The Mueller-led probe ultimately charged more than a dozen Russian operatives and several top Trump associates. But Mueller did not determine whether Trump broke the law. The president denies any wrongdoing.
If we had had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. We did not, however, make a determination as to whether the president did commit a crime.
Mueller's team coming under constant attack by President Trump. And tonight, the president saying, Robert Mueller just died. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle condemning the remark.
This is a person who served this country and deserves more respect than that.
I join many Americans mourning the loss of Robert Mueller.
Mueller, a career civil servant, serving multiple presidents in both parties. Born in 1944 in New York City, Mueller grew up in suburban Philadelphia, graduating from Princeton University in 1966 and receiving a master's degree from NYU. Enlisting in the Marine Corps, Mueller was deployed to South Vietnam. Serving on active duty for 3 years, Mueller was decorated for valor with a Bronze Star after rescuing a wounded Marine under fire. And a year later, he would earn a Purple Heart after being shot in a firefight. In 2001, President George W. Bush nominated Mueller to lead the FBI as its 6th director, sworn in as FBI director just a week before the September 11th attacks. And with tonight, former FBI Director James Comey weighing in, saying his example should inspire all of us. Whit.
Olivia Rubin, our thanks to you tonight. Now to the newly released video of pop star Justin Timberlake's DWI arrest in Long Island, New York. Timberlake's attorneys sued to block the release of the body camera footage from 2024, calling it an invasion of privacy, but later agreeing to release a redacted version. Here's ABC's Andrew Dimberg.
Tonight, newly released video showing the moment pop superstar Justin Timberlake is arrested on suspicion of driving while intoxicated in June of 2024.
Based off of his observations, you are intoxicated.
Okay.
So you were under arrest for DWI. Okay?
Timberlake's gray BMW captured on surveillance video driving down a street in the Hamptons shortly before his arrest.
I observed you failing to fully stop at the stop sign, and then while you were driving, you failed to keep right on numerous occasions. So you're very...
Wait, start over? Sorry.
So
one more time.
Following Timberlake's arrest, Sag Harbor police officers taking him to a cell.
All night?
It might not be this one, you might be over at the other one, and they actually have blankets for you.
You guys are wild, man.
Before he was taken into custody, body camera video showing Timberlake undergoing a series of field sobriety tests.
Heel to toe, like this.
The then 43-year-old visibly struggling.
1,000, 5,000.
All right, that's all good. All right.
By the way, these are like really hard tests.
Officers then asking Timberlake to use a breathalyzer, which he appears to refuse.
You're blowing a balloon. No?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The Grammy Award-winning artist was later charged with misdemeanor DWI and released without bail. Timberlake pleaded guilty to a lesser charge to resolve this DWI case. He also sued to block the release of this video, but reached a settlement, agreeing to release a redacted version.
Okay, Andrew Dimbert, thanks so much. There's much more ahead on World News Tonight this Saturday. A toddler seen wandering into traffic, how a quick-thinking driver may have saved his life. Next tonight, the spring break crackdown in Florida. Daytona Beach declaring a state of emergency after dozens of arrests, rowdy parties, and chaos. There's also a curfew for minors now. Authorities also targeting the promoters they say are throwing unsanctioned Daytona Beach takeover events. Chicago police say they're questioning a person of interest in the deadly shooting of a college student. 18-year-old Sheridan Gorman was killed early Thursday morning. She'd been walking with friends on a lakefront pier not far from Loyola University, where she was a freshman. Police say they don't believe she was the intended target. Turning now to Breonna Taylor's mother, speaking out against a move by the Department of Justice to drop charges against 2 Louisville, Kentucky officers. They are accused of falsifying the affidavit used to obtain a no-knock search warrant for Taylor's apartment. Taylor was shot and killed by officers in a botched police raid in 2020. Her mother, Tamika Palmer, says the move reflects a, quote, long-standing lack of accountability. When we come back, a record-breaking reunion, years in the making. To the index now, in a heart-stopping moment for a rideshare driver in Texas. Michelle Gallegos was driving in San Antonio when she spotted a toddler alone in traffic. She stopped her car, jumped out, and rescued the little boy. Gallegos drove him to a nearby apartment complex and called 911. Soon after, police arrived, as did the child's guardians, and he was taken home safe. And the reunion that millions of fans were waiting for, all 7 members of the K-pop supergroup BTS back on stage for a free concert in Seoul. They were on hiatus for 4 years while members completed their military service. Organizers called it the biggest concert ever in South Korea, with more than 250,000 people watching it on giant screens. When we come back, America Strong, from underdog to part of the family. Finally tonight, the dog wandering in the cold and the officers going above and beyond.
In the middle of the night last month, with temperatures below zero, police officers in Milford, Michigan answered a call from a resident about a lost dog.
Hi, pup.
The moment captured on body camera video.
Hi.
With no tag or microchip, the concerned homeowner who found him on her deck called police.
I know. We'll get you warm.
The responding officers carefully lifting him out of that bitter cold, placing him into the back of a patrol car and taking him to safety at the station.
Good boy.
Good job. We put him on our department's social media when the officers got back. We had comments, but no one claimed ownership.
He was turned over to Oakland County Animal Control, but after 2 weeks, nobody showed up to claim him. So the Milford Police Department stepped up again and adopted him, naming him Lil Craig and giving him his own Instagram and Facebook accounts.
He warmed some hearts.
Today, he's a cherished member of the police department, happily roaming the halls. While he's believed to be about 9 years old, hard of hearing, and missing some teeth, these officers are determined to give Lil Craig the loving forever home he deserves.
Oh, Lil Craig. I'm Whit Johnson in New York. Have a great night.
David Muir, the most trusted anchor in America, the most watched anchor in America. Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir the #1 newscast in America.